Module John Madden in my darkened camper van. A little before 6 o'clock on Friday the 13th, which my old spiritual teacher, Sri Chinmoy, said was 13 was a really powerful spiritual number. So to get over the notion that Friday 13th is bad luck. So for many years now, I've not felt that it was bad luck. I want to make a video about help that's not actually very good help, and why, even if you're in a situation where you absolutely need to let somebody help you because you need the help and they are sincere, they really want to help, you need to keep your eyes peeled, because what they give you may not be good help, or might be good in some areas but not at all in others. About 3 months ago, I guess probably 4 months ago now, I broke down in Mexico, in a very rural area, in a very hot spot. I just barely managed to limp off the carretera, busy highway, far enough to not get hit. But I spent 28 hours baking in the sun, not at night obviously, but one whole day, and the next day into like 2 o'clock in my hot camper van, to where I really was close to thinking, I thought I was going to expire. I actually made a goodbye note. And finally, a young guy, 2 guys on a motorcycle, stopped to help me, and they said they would go get their truck and tow me into their mechanic shop. And I ended up spending 3 months alternately parked in their mechanic shop, which was right next to the carretera. Very big truck noises. Those trucks running up the hill by me really sounded like they were going to come through my van. So they towed my car down behind. I had made friends with people down at the Israeli restaurant in the little 400-person pueblo of El Diamante. They were a spectacular family, and I spent my days there, most of them, because they had wonderful Wi-Fi and they were beautiful people, and it was a very happy place and a lovely location. Big carretera out in front, but beautiful fields behind. And 2 adorable kids, 3 adorable kids who became very important to me. And it was just 100 yards down from the carretera shop, the tower shop, the mechanical shop. So he told, because I became friends with them, they allowed me to have my car towed behind their hotel. It was a restaurant and a hotel. Behind the hotel, the biggest hotel blocked off the sounds of the carretera, and it was really just the sounds of the field, and lovely back there. But this guy Hiram, I think he really, in some ways, knew his stuff. They totally trusted him as a mechanic, the whole family. But I also encountered a guy out on the street who said, "Don't trust that guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. He will rip you off." And the grandma from the family says, "No, don't listen to that." So I went with her. And I think I think he was a sharp mechanic. He was so busy, and all he cared about was fixing cars. He was like a complete nutcase for fixing cars, and brilliant in some ways. But he would turn over some of the work to his henchmen who didn't know as much. So 3 months in a row, they couldn't get my car fixed, and I kept pouring money into it, and they kept trying. So I was desperately poor for 3 months. And finally, they had to replace the engine altogether, which was super expensive. And it was one of his sidekicks who did it, a younger guy, who clearly was looking at YouTube videos about how to do it. And I'm not sure Hiram ever even really supervised his work, because when I got out of there and drove, car wasn't behaving well at all. Absolutely no power on hills. And now I'm up in Jalapa, which is all hills, so it's really dangerous. And in my closing days there, number one, Hiram kept missing appointments to pick up my car and finish the work, like 6 days in a row. I had to, trying not to go all North American on him, because they were all really soft, smooth, sweet people who really got thrown off at any sign of assertiveness. So it was a real dance. But in a WhatsApp message to him and his buddy, my friend Miguel, who ran the hotel, said, "You have to do this. You have to do this." So he did, but I'm not sure he ever reviewed the work. They got the engine in and I got out of there. The other two things he didn't do was it was all cash payments, and I'm not good with details, and I didn't keep good records. And I said, I don't expect an itemized bill. Could you please tell me how much I paid you? And never, several attempts to do that, he has not and won't, obviously. Maybe can't. Maybe he doesn't have the records himself. So I don't have any, somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 or maybe 5,000 American I put into that. I have no records. And the replacement engine that he went over to Costa Rica to pick up, I said, I need to know about that engine, because actually the previous engine was a rebuilt engine that I was all excited 2 years ago that I got an old van with a new engine. But two mechanics, including him, have said that was a bad engine. They never should have rebuilt it. So I said, I need to know everything I can about this engine. And he has not gotten me anything, never showed it to me, never opened the hood. Actually, you have to come through the cabin to see the engine. Never, no. And the mechanic I saw 2 days ago, the mechanic I saw 2 days ago said, I think it's 8-cylinder, which I couldn't believe that they put an 8-cylinder engine, which should be great power, and I've got no power. So maybe they've got the timing off. I think they may have even one piston that's not working, or the timing is off on how the pistons are firing. But it's desperately, dangerously slow going up hills. Yeah. So based, it was offshoot of that, how I fell into the hands of the second angel who has tried to be helpful. I was standing just down the street from the Coppell store down in the Lost Troncos section here, which has been my other home base because they've got a super powerful Wi-Fi for loading my videos, and a very happy store. And just down the street is an OXO store that is an insanely happy store, and I get so high in there. But just down the street, I was parked in front of a orthopedic supply store, and I'm looking at my engine and cannot even find the dipstick to check the oil, because I thought maybe the oil's low. And David, who's the manager of the store and speaks some English, spent 7 years working construction in the U.S., he couldn't find it either. Well, he took me under his wing, and he ended up taking me to his mechanic. So because the contacts who were supposed to help me find a mechanic in this town are just not getting back to me. So this was like, wow, perfect, exactly what I needed. And he says, just about a 5-minute drive, I'll have you follow me over there. So the other thing with my car is the brakes are terrible. Oh my God, on these hills, I have to push the pedal all the way to the floor and run through. It's an automatic transmission, but I use second and first gears a lot to control myself on the hills, just barely stopping. So I said, this car is dangerous to drive. He says, piece of cake, 5 minutes, we'll be over there. He took me on a hair-raising 20-minute drive on expressways and twisty little roads, and him going super fast. Various times I absolutely lost sight of him. I thought, okay, I'm just going to end up in some strange neighborhood, and I've got no GPS because I don't have phone service right now. Somehow I caught up with him, and we got to the mechanic. And he demonstrated a part of his personality that I had no idea there, because he was just this angel who was going to help me. He will not listen to my needs, because I was parked at the mechanic. We couldn't get